Hello beautiful people, welcome to the channel. Reverend Debbie here, hope you're doing well. Today's video, why did Trump win? I got asked this recently on one of the videos that I'd done, and I thought it was quite interesting because this person was quite confused as to how this happened when so many women are against him and his the termination ban that they want to put in place. So I've been going through some of the reasons that I think. So these are my own reasons, my own opinions. So if you have opinions, please pop them into the description box below. Now, some of you know I consume quite a lot of political content, and I do consume some American commenters as well. Luke Beasley and Midas Touch being two of them. There are others that I follow as well. So if you want to find out what is happening in America, I highly recommend those two channels, and I will put links to the channels in the description box below. So my thoughts on why Trump won. Well, first of all, you know, he's a con man. He's a snake oil salesman. He will say whatever he needs to be in the position that he wants to be in. He's a narcissist. Complete narcissist, and you know, he will just waffle on and say things that make no sense to people. The day after the election, people were actually Googling tariffs to find out what that meant, and they didn't realize that they were going to be paying those tariffs. In other words, as they go to the shops, they were worried about the price of eggs, and they're going to be paying more for those eggs. Anything that comes in from abroad is going to be more expensive. So, you know, if people had have gone to find out what tariffs were beforehand, then they may have made a different choice. It's very similar, and it reminds me to why people chose to vote for Brexit here in the UK, because they didn't understand what it actually meant, because nobody told them. It was all lies and disinformation, and that's exactly what has happened with Trump. So there's a lot of lies, a lot of deceit. Then another thing I've noticed as well is that husbands were telling wives which way to vote. Now, in America, there are a lot of what we call trad wives, traditional wives, where they will do whatever their husband says. Now, I don't agree with that, but if that's their choice, that's their choice. So they will either not vote, or they will vote the same way as their husband. And what is interesting is the amount of women who filed for divorce when they found out that their husband or partner voted for Trump. Because Trump has no interest in women's rights at all. Also, only a small minority of white women actually voted for Trump. 71% of voters were actually white. I'm going to put a link to this information into the description box below so you can go and check this out. There is a nice graph on there that makes it easy for you to look at. As I say, 71% of voters were white, mostly men, and the Black and Hispanic people actually lagged in their voting, but more women did vote for Kamala than voted for Trump. So a lot of women were turned on to the problems that Trump will cause for them. But unfortunately, not everybody watches politics. Not everybody follows politics like some of us do. So they will think back to Trump having been a good president, and they were told that Biden was a rubbish president, which he actually isn't. When you look at the economic situation in America, economically, the country has done better under Biden than it ever did under Trump. And again, I'll link some information below so you can go and have a read and check for yourself. Misinformation. One of the biggest issues at the moment around the world is misinformation. Elon Musk was basically bankrolling Trump's campaign. And of course, he owns Twitter. And the misinformation that was on there was astounding. And unfortunately, people don't check. People don't go and say, well, hang on, that doesn't sound right to me. So they don't check. So they just go with what they read online. And they don't believe the legacy media either, because the legacy media is bad according to Trump. So it's all fake news. As I mentioned already, tariffs, that people had no idea how tariffs worked. And then he said he was going to scrap Obamacare, which a lot of people seemed to agree with, without realizing that Obamacare is now called the Affordable Care Act in America, and a lot of people have been utilizing that. Those who can't afford their drugs, such as insulin, for those who suffer with diabetes. So now all of those people are going to suffer because they're not going to be able to afford the drugs and the care that they need. They weren't aware that it was the same act. A big one here is racism. Trump said he's going to do mass deportations. And to me, that is just despicable. But if he does do mass deportations, there are going to be no workers in the US. There are illegal workers in the US that we know work in restaurants and do sort of farm work and that kind of thing. Without those illegal migrants, who is going to do that work? You know, who's going to go and do it? So this promise of mass deportations to a lot of white men, and I want to say here not all white men, because not all white men feel like this, but you need to remember that Trump's party was backed by the KKK. I did see something about the KKK last night, that they're ready to go. I'll try and find that and link it into the description box below as well. I think as well, perhaps Kamala didn't do enough. I know she raised a huge amount of money for her campaign, and within the first sort of day, she received a huge amount of money. But unfortunately, her message didn't seem to get across, and that again is the misinformation that is online, that is on various platforms, various media platforms. And finally, I think that misogyny and the patriarchy had a lot to do with it. I hate to say this, I really do, but men don't want a female president. We saw that with Nick Fuentes. I've seen a few comments from the likes of Andrew Tate and, saying that women shouldn't be in charge. And that saddens me greatly because, as you know, I'm a feminist, and I think that a female president would have been excellent for America and so much better than what Trump's going to be. Especially when you look at the people that he's chosen to head his, new roles that he's put in with Doge for Elon Musk. And I've heard stories as well that Trump's getting tired of Elon Musk now. And that probably will happen because Elon Musk and Trump are both narcissists. You can't have two narcissists together. That just won't work. One of them will tell the other one to get lost. So, yeah. Did people vote for Elon Musk to be in the presidency, in his cabinet? Probably not. Anyway, those are my thoughts on that. And if you have any other thoughts, please pop them into the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video, please click the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. It really helps with the algorithms. And I want to say thank you to all of my new subscribers who have joined me. I really appreciate it. I hope to see you next time. Blessed be.